What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Comically Boston. I'm your host, Big Cam, and today we are talking about Agatha All Along, Episode 5, Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power, which I only have two questions. Whose darkest hour is it, and whose power shall they wake? And maybe we'll get the answers to those questions. But this is the sleepover episode that we were speculating in the trailers that must be a full episode. So this is the sleepover trial, and this seems to be Agatha's trial. So coming off of that last episode, we had Rio and Agatha saying, "Agatha, that's not your boy," and the teen getting healed by Jen. And, you know, after Alice had accomplished her trial in the last episode, the fire trial. So, on to the next trial. And this one is goofy, but it's also got like a real short episode, like 25-minute runtime before the credits, which is crazy. I think it's like 32 with the credits, which is just insane that they can do a short and sweet episode like this. Some people are hating on the runtime. I didn't think it was that bad. I think it accomplished what it needed to accomplish. Gets us on to the next episode, you know what I mean? But we open on the title of the episode, Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power. And we see a fox climb out of a hole. And then we start to see other animals, a snake and all types of things. And we find out that this is the Salem 7. And each of these Salem 7 women have a correlating animal. Right, so one of them is a cicada, one of them is a crow, one of them is a fox, a snake, a rat, a coyote, and an owl. And I believe each of these actresses we might actually see eventually, but these are their correlating animals, which I found fascinating. But we find out that the Salem 7 has made it down to the road. And they're whispering, "Agatha Harkness, find her, Agatha Harkness, find her, find her." Right? And it's super creepy, and it's like, ooh, I don't like this Salem 7. And then all of a sudden they stumble across this like black jewel, which I don't remember seeing from the last episodes. Like, I don't remember seeing someone drop it or something. Maybe they did, but I just missed it. But Lilia senses the 7 and opens, and like they had all turned their head as soon as Lilia senses them, and she's like, "They're here! We left the door open when we summoned Rio." And she didn't say that in exact quote, but it's what happened. They left, when they summoned Rio, they left that door open. So there's a hole in the ground where they came up out of, and that's when we see the fox and whatever. And the rest of the coven starts to talk about who the Salem 7 is and the story of the Salem 7. And they are the children of Agatha's coven that she killed and spared the children, right? So all those women that we see in the recap of this episode, and we saw her in WandaVision, Agatha Harkness, I believe it's like 1605 or something, 16 something. And it's like her mother, Evanora Harkness, and a bunch of other people, and she like takes their power and kills all of them. Apparently the Salem 7 is all their kids, so not all that shocking, but also just kind of like a good little family tree tie in there. Like, oh right, that's why this coven is together, and they're described as a feral hive mind bent on revenge, trying to get Agatha. And Agatha runs in and goes, "Okay folks, moral of the story, always finish what you started. Also, mercy is overrated. Let's go." And takes off. "Pack up your shit, let's go." And as they're running away, they hear the Salem 7 on one end, they hear him on the other end, and the teen suggests Hexenbensons. I think I said that right. And they all kind of have different reactions to it. Rio's like, "Yes!" Lilia's like, "Oh, how embarrassing!" And apparently a Hexenbenson is a broom. And they have to like take a root off this like tree and like, you know, tie whatever branches together, but pick a branch, and then they have to trade it with another person in their coven. So like they have to pick one out for another person. And it's hilarious because Lilia hates them, and she's like, "This is an absurd emblem of witches. The Halloween community has made it an emblem of us. Oh, it's embarrassing." So they have to pick out each other's brooms. Rio picks out Agatha's, Agatha picks out Rio's, Lilia and Jen, and then Alice like picks one out, and Teen's like, "I get one." She's like, "If you pick me out one." Like, so that's the 6 people left getting brooms from each other. But I loved when Rio got a broom from Agatha, and she like touches her hand, and Agatha's like, "Ah."
It's about selflessness, Teen. Oh, is it?
It's about selflessness, Teen, and she's like, "Ah, God, Rio, don't touch me." And right as the teen is picking out his broom for Alice, the Owl 7 attacks Teen, and Alice kicks it off and protects him, and then they all fly away. They finish the little spell to make the brooms fly. They all fly away, and this is where we get this beautiful shirt with the witches flying through the blood moon in this great shot. And people were, I saw some things on Twitter, people saying that this CGI looked terrible. I thought this flying in them in front of the blood moon looked fucking phenomenal. I don't know what kind of whack-ass TVs you got, but I have a very nice TV, and that shit looked fucking amazing. I don't know what you guys are fucking, you watching this on a Game Boy or something, but I don't know, this shit looked good to me. And that little moment in the sky where Agatha like looks over at Rio, and Rio's flying and absolutely loves it. We hear Lilia say, I haven't done this in centuries. So hundreds of years ago she was flying around on a broomstick. So all of a sudden they're flying along, and the road starts like tilting them back down to the road, and it's dragging them back down. They can't fly away. So, you know, obviously taking them to their next trial. But as they fly back down, Rio has this hilarious cackle that reminded me so much of like the Wicked Witch of the West type of thing from The Wizard of Oz. And like they're all freaking out, and Rio's just like, ha 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 ha, you know, like so happy, enjoying every moment of it. So one of the 7, I believe, turns into like bugs. So I think this is the Cicada 7. I keep calling them just their animal counterpart and then 7 because we don't know their names yet. So I believe this is the Cicada 7, and she kind of breaks out into flies, and they fly through her and into the trial. They turn into sleepover outfits this time, which cracks me up. The little headband on Teen and the little pajamas on the rest of them. Like, just cracks me up. It's a little slumber party time. And we hear Alice go, how do we get through this trial? Kiss, marry, kill? And I don't know if I was just in a part of town where we were freakier, but we never played kiss, marry, kill. It was always something else first. Fuck, marry, kill. No. And then Teen goes, whose trial is this? Rio goes, it's Agatha. Lilia says, a blood moon when the veil between the living and the dead is at the thinnest. And she says, she reads people and reads time. Talking to spirits was just a con. And then we hear Rio say, who better to conjure spirits than someone who's put so many in the grave? And Agatha's kind of like giving her dirty looks. And Teen sees the Ouija board, or Ouija, either way, it's a creepy board that summons spirits. Don't do it unless you're got a coven of witches and you're in a sleepover, and you have to do it. But the Ouija board test, and Teen reads the rules. Rule number 1, do not play alone. Rule number 2, don't talk over each other. They immediately all start talking over each other, which was hilarious. It doesn't say that. Where's that written? Show me that. You know, like... Rule number 3, do not taunt the spirits. Rule number 4, do not ask about death. Rule number 5, always end your session with goodbye. Rule number 6, do not, under any circumstances, remove your hand from the planchette, which is the little thing that they have to all have their hands on. So you see this shot of them all gathered around the Ouija board having a spooky little evening for themselves. And I love this shot from above where you can see the little circle in the Ouija and all their hands around it. Great little show. I love this show so much. It's got the perfect Halloween vibes. So great. And then Lilia goes, what's the back of that rule card say? And he goes, oh, for ages 3 and up. What? I don't think Ouija boards are supposed to be for ages 3 and up. More like 13 maybe and up. I don't know. So then they go down to the Ouija board and they go, Agatha's up. Who's waiting for her? In what trauma? You know? Like, and then all of a sudden they go, who's there? And it spells out, Mrs. Hart? What? Mrs. Hart, what's up? What's good, Mrs. Hart? How are you? I was like, oh my god, is she coming back? And then Lilia's hand slips off and Agatha's soul gets taken over by Mrs. Hart, and you're like, she's like, what did you do? And she's like, oh, it was an accident. And then we get Kathryn Hahn doing a Debra Jo Rupp impersonation. I couldn't have wanted this more, and it was honestly a great impersonation. If I was Debra Jo Rupp, I'd kind of be disrespected a little bit. I'd be like, hey man, is that really how I sound? But at the same time, it's a great, funny fucking part, and here's the clip.
Oh my, what a journey. There I was, living my tiny life in the burbs, baking casseroles, linking into conspiracy theories on Facebook, drinking before noon, and there you were, bringing chills and thrills and bringing on my own early demise.
Dude, Kathryn Hahn's impersonation of Debra Rupp couldn't be more perfect. But the impersonation's just a fake, and they're all like, you know, going around, oh my god, it's Mrs. Hart. Who else could it be? And someone goes, it's Agatha. I believe that's Jen says that. And then Rio snaps her out of it and goes,
she's just scared.
ooh, she goes, she's just scared. And you see Kathryn Hahn's face just like, you know, like just straighten up real fucking quick. Ooh, almost gives me chills. Agatha goes to sit down, she goes, I thought my impersonation was pretty good, you know, like. So then she sits down again to give this Ouija board a real shot. She goes, maiden mother crone, spirits be known, the house creaks, and it's, who's here tonight? And it spells out death. What do you want? It spells out punish. Who do you want to punish? Agatha. And it starts spelling out Agatha over and over and over again. All of a sudden she pulls her hand off the board. And the board goes flying, and Agatha needs to be punished. And now this is Agatha Demon time that we saw in the trailers that we were all expecting. But like shit starts to go haywire, and I love how everyone starts to freak out, but Rio's having the time of her life. Everyone's ah, and Rio's like woo. Like, if you watch Aubrey Plaza throughout these episodes, just in the background, it's worth it. It's entirely worth it, I promise. It's a creepy shot. A teen like looks up and Agatha's a demon on the ceiling. She drops down. We hear Rio, sweetheart, are you okay? Whoa, what's she doing? Where's she going? Right, like, I love Rio. I love Aubrey Plaza so much. Like, she's so funny. But she's like really possessed this time, and she's like going after Teen, and Teen's like, oh my god, get her off me, she's really possessed. And then she starts to choke Jen. And then Lilia hits the lights and she disappears again. And then we see the ghost of Evanora Harkness. And it was like, wait, what the fuck? And it was the ghost of, so it was Agatha's mother, Evanora, who took over her and was possessing her. And Agatha's up on the stoop and she's like, hey mom. She's like, oh, you demon witch. You know, like his mom's so pissed at her. But Evanora warns the coven of Agatha, and my entire coven died trying to take her down, and you guys willingly join her? You're crazy, don't trust her. And then we get Rio standing up for Agatha saying, hey, you can't have her.
Leave her with me.
No! No way! A minute ago you were ready to slit her throat.
Yeah, well, her mother can't have her.
Oh, a minute ago you were ready to slit her throat. Yeah, well, her mother can't have her. They're totally in love. This is definitely a relationship. Rio loves the shit out of her. I love how much of a relationship it is between Rio and Agatha. And Rio's like, fuck you, you can't have her, she's mine. But Agatha comes down from the little top and she's talking to the ghost of Evanora and says, Mom, why do you still hate me? And she goes, you were born evil. I should have killed you the moment you left my body. Whoa. Evanora just wanted to straight up abort Agatha, but not just abort her, kill her ass the moment she fucking breathed a breath of air. And she was born evil, so maybe poor Evanora, you know, got kind of Rosemary's Babied, and Agatha's that baby. If you guys don't know, you don't know, but Rosemary's Baby is a crazy movie. Like, crazy book, too. Evanora takes over Agatha again, and Alice jumps in as the protector of the group, and we see her with her orange magic dispel the ghost out of Agatha. But this is how Agatha gains power. So Agatha just takes her purple back, but, you know, turns the orange power into purple power. And, you know, this is exactly what Agatha wants, but I didn't think she wanted to kill Alice. You know, like, just so happens Alice was the one that blasts her. And as she blasts her with her orange magic, Lilia calls it the Knight of Wands. And not knight as in N-I-G-H-T, as in Knight of Shining Armor, K-N-I-H-T. Knight of Wands is the spell she's fucking, I think, or at least that's what Lilia said. I believe that Knights of Wands was also a tarot card that we saw in promotional art before the season, and Lilia is the tarot expert, right? So as this is happening, the Ouija board goes crazy, and it starts spelling out a name, and it spells out Nicholas Scratch, and Teen, right before the timer comes out, he goes, "Nicholas Scratch!" And we hear a boy say, "Mama, stop!" And, you know, Agatha turns around, and we hear, it says in the closed captions, "Nicholas, Mama, stop!" So I think it's this moment Agatha realizes that what Rio said at the last episode, end of the last episode, as in Teen is not your son, this is the moment I think she fully realizes that he's not Nicholas Scratch, because she hears the voice of Nicholas Scratch from the dead. This is the Ouija board talking to the dead, you know what I mean? So I think Nicholas Scratch is actually really dead, and he was telling his mother to stop draining Alice of her powers, but I believe it was too late, because Alice is a drained little corpse, and she looks like Wanda when she was getting drained of powers. She looks like Evanora in that coven that was drained of power from Agatha. Ooh, it's a tough look. But Teen finishes the trial right in time and puts it over goodbye, and, you know, finishes the trial at the right time. A door opens. Alice dies protecting Agatha, and it's like, oh, she died so Agatha couldn't go on. Like, so Alice is gone. Debra Jo Rupp is gone. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. But Hahn, who played Alice, fucking amazing. I loved her. She looked so cute in this episode. There's her little pigtails and her little slumber party outfit. So sad to see you go. I hope this isn't the last we see of her, but I have a feeling it might be. So Teen tells Agatha she doesn't deserve to be saved by Alice, and he's kind of right. Agatha runs off to the road, and she's kind of sad, but she's also kind of like looking at this faint orange glow in her hand as it poofs away. And then the Teen runs out and goes, "You just wanted her power." And Lilia says, "Death comes for all of us." And then Teen says to Agatha, "Is that what it means to be a witch? Killing people for your own agenda? No, not for me." And then Agatha looks him dead in his eyes and goes, "Oh, are you sure? You're so much like your mother." Ooh. And then goes, "Come, pet," which she was like earlier in the season, calling him pet and shit. And then we start to see the Teen's hand glow blue. And we see Jen and Lilia get possessed and throw Agatha into the mud off the road, and Agatha sinks. And then the Teen, you know, is the one possessing Jen and Lilia, and we see the blue in their eyes, and he throws them into the road, and they sink down as well. And we end this episode as they sink into the mud, and where they go, I don't know. And now Teen's on the road by himself because the other women are now dead, right? Like, or it's just Teen and Rio? Uh-oh. Like, that's not good. But we end this episode with Billie Eilish's "You Should See Me in the Crown." You know, great song. Right, like such a vibe. And it was a perfect ending as we pull into the Teen's face and he grows like a blue crown tiara, much like Agatha thinking his mother would be the red-crowned Scarlet Witch. Woo! So, are we getting Wanda back in this season of Agatha All Along? I think so. I'm excited. Oh man, I want her back so bad. She's not dead. She's got to be here. Teen's coming back to get her back. Come on, please. I really hope he is Billy, and this episode, you know, teases that throughout the costumes, because Billy's Halloween costume in WandaVision looks awfully similar to Joe Locke's costume in this episode, does it not? The blue headband, the red shirt, the hair, you know, like, I don't know, I think Joe Locke is a pretty good, aged up Billy, you know what I mean? But, so, Billy, Teen is Wiccan, like the blue magic, Wiccan, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait till episode 6 to find out, but comment below what were your thoughts on this episode. I think, honestly, it could have been longer, but 25 minutes is good enough for me. On to the next. Where did Agatha and Jen and Lilia get thrown to? Either way, at least they'll be together. Where was Rio when this was happening to Agatha? Why is it going to be Rio and fucking Alice's dead body in, well, Oh, maybe that's where Rio was. Rio was taking the body because that was Agatha's promise, and what Rio wanted in the previous episode was bodies. Ooh. So Rio is kind of death, and we hear in this episode when they're spelling out on the Ouija board, and who's here tonight? And it says death, and Rio cackles, and this is like a behind the scenes thing. We think Rio might be death, Lady Death. So, you know, maybe that's why she's here, is to claim a body. I don't know, man. I don't know. This show is awesome, though. I love the women together. I love the musical choices, the costumes, how much practical sets and practical things are done. And it's able to make it so when there is 2 brief scenes of them flying on brooms and Alice using her magic, the magic looks pretty damn good for CGI, and the brooms look, like the flying on the brooms look great to me. I don't know what people's complaints are. If you have any specific complaints about those things that you can articulate down in the comment section below, I'd love to hear those. If you'd like to support the channel more, and if you've made it this far in the video, please consider liking this video, subscribing if you're new, hitting that bell so you don't miss future videos. My name is Bigg Cam. If you want to follow me on my other social medias, links down in the description below. Thank you guys so much. Stay tuned for another Agatha All Along breakdown for the remaining 3 episodes, or 4 episodes over the next 3 weeks. Breakdowns for the Penguin show also have been coming out. Weekly nerdy news every week, Comically Boston's. Stay tuned, y'all, and I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace.